Okay, I'm going to try and do a quick breakdown of how I do these dioramas using that foam insulation spray I showed in a previous video. It's really pretty simple. All you do with the foam is you have the nozzle on the end, and the longer you sit it here, the more it'll build up. Then of course, the faster you go and the thinner you make the lines, it's going to naturally expand, but you can control how much it expands. And before it dries, this is crucial, before it dries, you're going to want to spread it out, smooth it right onto the wood. So there's no seams, there's no gaps between the foam and the wood. You're just taking a old pencil, pen, whatever, just smear it on there, smooth it in there really good before it dries. Make sure you're wearing gloves, make sure you don't get it on your hands because stuff is really sticky. It's hard to come off. Then when you want areas such as this for the cuts, I'll use a large serrated knife that's going to be able to go through the full width of the area that you want to cut. So I'll start and just level it with my eye, come straight across in a sewing motion, and you'll see it's a serrated. I use a serrated blade. That's way easier. That's way better. And once it's cut, it's going to look something like this. It's going to look really porous. So that in itself is okay as a diorama, as a setting. I mean, it looks decent, not too bad. But personally, I'll go through and I'll use caulk to smooth it out to make it look more natural. I'll put some caulk on there. I'll smear the caulk in with my finger all into the pores, and then I'll go through before that dries and I'll paint it. I'll put my primer on there real quick and I'll paint over it to get that in, smear it into the pores, into the grooves. And one thing I want to note is the longer you wait for the caulk to dry, the smoother your surface is going to be. So if you want a really smooth surface, you're going to want your caulk to dry completely, totally, before you go to paint it. That's about all I can tell you. As far as the paint, I'll just use a primer, and then I'll use I'll start with the dark paint for a base, and I'll just lighten my colors as I go. The wood I used to get the $7.99. It was like a 16 by 32 inch, but then because of the size of the figures that I wanted, I started going larger, and I was using the 1/2 inch OSB that you can buy at Lowe's. I think it's like $7-8 per 4 by 8 sheet. And this particular one here is actually what is it? It's like a 25 by 48. So it's a fairly decent size for low cost. And then when you consider the foam insulation spray at about $3 a can, and then you got I'll use just acrylic paints, and I mean, there's really not a whole lot of cost to it. I mean, it's really pretty simple. And you know, of course, you don't have to go that large. You can even use a 1 by 10 or a 1 by 12 or whatever. I mean, depending on how big you want it, or you want to wall mount it or whatever. I mean, it's just it's basically just, you know, what you want for the size of the room that you want to put it in, or how you can go however big you want to go. But for like example, one can did this whole area. One can of foam insulation spray, I was able to do this whole diorama. So that's not bad for $3. I mean, you're looking at a 25 inch by 48 inch area. I mean, that's pretty large diorama. And the benefit to that is you're not using any heavyweight materials like plaster, which is when you go to move your diorama or your base and it starts cracking, or the weight of it is just too much. Or I mean, these are really not much weight at all, especially for the size. And plus, it's water resistant, the foam is, and it just covers in. I mean, so much better, in my opinion. So much better than plaster, so much better than anything else that I've tried using. And I've used pretty much everything. So for me, the foam insulation spray is really the way to go. It's cheap, it's you know, really durable, and it's I mean, you see the details is just, you know, it's incredible. I love this stuff. But if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer any. Thanks for watching.